I wanted to take a moment to welcome everyone to our education sessions for the Assyrian National Convention. I've been doing this now for over 9 years, and throughout the day today and tomorrow, we're going to be able to hear from over 40 presenters from very various backgrounds. We have academics, we have doctors, innovators, artists, and presenters from different backgrounds. And now for the most important in the new generation is people that are in the digital space, social influencers. So we're really happy that they're here as well. And they're each bringing their expertise, their knowledge, their passion, and vision, to share with us all. As a running theme, I always remind everyone at the Federation, especially within our team at the convention, that this is more than just a social gathering. It really is. It's not just a social gathering celebration, although that is very important. We come together here to learn, to carry our culture forward, to pick up ideas from one another. We are in a delicate situation right now as a society, as a community. We are now the vast majority in the diaspora, and we need to get the skills and knowledge so we can preserve our community, our nation. And we're really proud to run this program completely on volunteers. And the moderators, especially Emmanuel for this one, and our other sessions, they've all are volunteering to bring this program together. And this is time away from their family, from their work, and we really appreciate that. And we really have curated something for everybody. We have sessions on health, on wellness, technology, our homeland, language, arts, and academia. So again, I want to thank our presenters for their time, their volunteering for our community. And most of all, I'm really indebted to all you guys. I know there's a lot of distractions here. There's the pool, there's the lobby. We call those the lobbyists, they're in the lobby. But, we thank you all for being here. And we really hope that, you are able to get something from this, be inspired by the messages that are brought here, and raise questions so you can work on throughout the next year for our community and for our nation. So, again, thank you so much for all being here, and we will start momentarily.
Is it on? You can hear me? Okay, cool. Just out of curiosity, who in here knows who we are? Do you guys follow us? Any one of us on this panel? You do? Who in here has no idea who any of us are? Oh, okay. Right on, right on. That's humbling, that's nice.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, everyone here, we didn't get started yet. We're still setting up. But I'm sure everyone in here has a favorite character of some kind, right? Movie, book, comic. Yeah? Okay. I'm sure also that character has some type of comeback story. And that's what I really wanted to talk about today. That's the theme of this panel. It's about comebacks. This panel in front of you today, you probably are familiar with some parts of their story, but not all of them. And a lot of them has faced trials and tribulations, and that's what we're going to get into today. So just to manage expectations with everyone as more people are trickling in and as the cameras are getting set up. So thank you guys for coming in, and we'll begin shortly. Thomas, Romanus, are we ready? All right, all the cameras are recording? All right, you guys ready? Let's turn our mics back on.
Ready.
You guys are ready too in the crowd. I know. Thank you.
I'm ready.
Testing.
Hello?
Can you hear everybody?
Good? Yeah.
All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the second Assyrian Influencer Panel here at the 92nd Assyrian American National Convention. My name is Emmanuel Romanos, and I am going to be your host for this panel. Now, we talked about it a little bit earlier. Some of you know who we are, some of you don't. But today, I have an amazing lineup of a diverse range of individuals who are not only known within the Assyrian community, but worldwide for their diverse talents. And they all have been through some amazing things, trials and tribulations, and they're here today to tell you the stories of how they overcame some of those things. And so I want to start with my friend Ninib. Those of you who don't know Ninib, he essentially moved here from Canada, came to California, went from California, Florida, back to California. At one point, you actually lost the car that you were driving, you lost the team that you were working with, you lost the job that you were working at, the home you were living in. You went through some extreme lows very early on to you coming to America. And you still continue to create kindness videos. You still continue to do the thing that got you in those positions in the first place. But now let me preface, you're doing $10,000 giveaways with your own money. You're doing perfectly fine on your own right now, right? You're not in that same position before. But how did you continue to help those people out when you yourself needed help in those moments as well?
How did I continue to help those? Repeat that one more time.
How did you help out those people when you yourself needed help yourself?
Yeah. Well, honestly, I guess I was born with it. It's really, it's in me. Like, even back then when I was first coming up and I had to give away money in the videos, like I would really, like, truthfully give it my all. I'd use my, like, I'd max out my credit cards, F up my credit. Like, I'd always just give, and I enjoy it. It's like, it feels good to give. It's a win-win. You help others, and you also, you know, I always have faith that you do the right things in life, and God will provide. And that's really what's been, you know, like, God gives you the double when you give, and that's really what's been happening with me, I feel like. And yeah, till this day, like, sometimes I overdo it. Like, even my manager would be like, "You need to calm down a bit." But I like it, honestly. I was never in this for the money, so it's like.
Yeah, but we all have tendencies to be selfish in life, no? So are there any moments where you feel like, I can't keep helping people, I need to help myself first?
I mean, yeah, I have some moments like that, or I had some moments like that coming on during my journey, where, like, and what would happen is I had to help myself. That meant, like, posting less and just trying to slowly build. Like you said, like, when I signed with Patrick with David for 3 months and I left that whole deal, it brought me back to, like, square one. Like, it was like, you know, like, I sold my channels, I had to buy it back, and so I was really starting from scratch. Like, 12 months ago, it really felt like I was starting from scratch. So I think that was one of the lowest points too. Like I was in, like, a lot of debt, really. But I just continue to post, continue to put my head down and just work and give more money away. And then the videos perform well. And the thing I do, like, the work I'm in, it's interesting because I give money away to people who need it, and then I get money from the monetization, and then I just make more and give more away. So it's like a win-win, and it feels good to give. So yeah, I mean,
He's amazing. Like, he'll give the shirt off his back. I've seen him work, like, while we're making videos, and, like, he'll be like, "Oh, I'm thinking of giving, like, $500 away." We get there, he's like, "No, you know what? Oh, they really need it. Let me do 2,000. Let me take my shirt off. Let me do this." Like, he's so helpful, and he's always thinking about the other person, and just working with him, seeing that it's something else, really.
Yeah, and for those of you who don't know exactly what Ninib does, is he goes around and he finds people in need. He's helped people GoFundMes, taking homeless people off of the streets and putting them in a much better position in their lives, and a variety of things like that. So he's honestly a person who gives back to not only the Assyrian community, but Nakraye and people alike. Always giving. But transitioning a bit to Mr. Benil Dariush. So thank you so much for coming. It's a particular honor for me to be sitting with you coming off of a recent victory. So congratulations on that. Yeah. But I want to talk about some of the losses too. So starting in June 10th of 2023, roughly 2 years ago, it actually started, unfortunate, 2-fight losing streak. After the 2-fight losing streak, you were promised a fight. That fight got canceled on you short notice. It seemed like everything was spiraling, and then this last fight really felt like do or die. At least it was from the audience's perspective. Do you feel that same way? Because now also 36 years old, the average age for a UFC fighter in the lightweight division is 31. We have to put that into the equation as well. So did you feel like this last fight was do or die?
I would say just about every fight for me is do or die. And, you know, like you said, the 2 years without a win, that was very difficult. But, yeah, this was definitely, there was a little bit of extra pressure with the 36 years old, you know, for sure. So getting old, more grays, and they're like, you know, this guy can't hang with them anymore. So we had to go out there and prove them wrong.
Yeah. But you also have, I mean, not also, you have the will of a fighter. This is something that I feel like a lot of people don't understand, that you would have the idea of you're always constantly on your feet trying to make things happen. But how do you sit in patience waiting for your time to shine again when you have that will of a fighter?
Well, fortunately for me, I have, there's always things to improve on. So when I don't have a fight, you have to improve on the things that maybe cost you before, or you know, you could do better. So that's really what it is. You get 15 minutes to shine, but the rest of the year you should be grinding and you should be sharpening your tools. So, you know, the whole thing goes, I think Lincoln said it, if you're going to cut a tree, spend the first hour sharpening your tool, and then the next one, you know, cutting it down. So I spend most of my time sharpening my tools in the dark where, you know, no one's around, and then, you know, when I get my opportunities, then I can make the most of them.
But do you ever feel like that if you were just being a brute of nature, going out and forcing your way to make an opportunity happen, or maybe strategizing with your team or someone that you can bring on and think of a clever way of making things happen, like how do you wait in times of patience? Do you ever struggle with being patient and forcing your way to make progress?
You know, my work is not like the first thing in my life. I'm a devout Christian, husband, father, and then I'm a fighter. So all those things keep me very busy, especially my kids. I have 3 daughters, so you know, if I could just keep up with them, that's a full-time job. But on top of that, I have to make sure I get my training in. So God's given me, you know, when you want patience, God will give you things that will force you to be patient, and kids are like that. So I've learned to be patient, and I don't think too much of it. When whoever's next will be next, you know, and I'll take care of it then.
I've had this conversation, I lost count. So many people say the reason why UFC fighters get opportunities is because they make a spectacle out of their career. They go and they call out another fighter, they insult, they tweet, they demand a fight after a victory in the ring so that they can get a champion shot. Why don't you call out fighters, and do you think that if you made a spectacle out of your career that the UFC would give you more opportunities for a championship?
I think, you guys can hear me well. Yeah, I think so. I think I would definitely get more opportunities if I acted different than the character that I am, and it seems dishonest to go out there and pretend to be something you're not. So, you know, I don't care how much monetary value there is in it. I'm not going to change who I am for you know, whatever they're looking for.
Has the temptation ever been there though?
I think it's always there, because even today, you know, I could, you know, pick up my phone and start pressing buttons, and all of a sudden, you know, a different character comes out and more people are interested. Yeah, the temptation's there, but, you know, so is God, so is, you know, the whole idea for me is the audience of one. I don't fight for the general public, don't get me wrong. I love my fans and I love everybody that supports me, even the people that don't support me, but I fight for the audience of one. So that's typically why I don't feel the pressure that most people feel. Like, I don't feel the pressure when the UFC is like, hey, come out there, say this, do that, you know, who are you going to call out after a post-fight? I'm like, hey, I have what I want to say. I'm good. You guys are cool. And, you know, that's typically how it goes.
One last question about that. Do you ever feel that the fans might feel disappointed if you don't act according the way that, let's say, a McGregor does, or one of these other loudmouth fighters?
Honestly, probably a lot of fans get disappointed with me because I don't say the things they want me to say, do the things they want me to do. But again, it goes back to integrity. I have to be the same person I am with my family, my kids, my wife, I am with my friends, as I am in front of the crowd. I'm not going to put on different masks for different people. Just want to be the same person.
Got it. By the way, this last cut that you did, I think you looked better than you did in the last 3 fights.
Yeah.
But it looks like there's another person cutting for a UFC fight. Ramina, you lost how much weight?
I'm like, I ain't fighting nobody.
Who are you fighting next?
Thank you, guys. Why would you ask a lady that?
I've hit a
Because-
record. Now they're saying bassa masle. So I'm like, oh, wait, what? Say that again? Yeah.
So the reason I asked that is because
Daniel's been training me.
yeah, I can tell. So you can throw a punch too now. There was a
She
time
might.
when we first met, you actually confided in me and told me that one of the things.
Why are you sharing our
Oh
secrets?
boy.
Why are you sharing our secrets?
Maybe it's not too much of a secret now.
Okay, go.
But you were telling me that there was a time where it was hard for you, constant battle, gaining weight, losing weight.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that was in one of our interviews, actually.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
And so, because of that, a person who loses a lot of weight and then gains it back, they can go one of 2 ways: mental fatigue and physical fatigue. Why would I do that all over again? That was very tough. Mental fatigue, what's the point if I'm going to gain it back one day, right? But you're a person who keeps trying, and you do amazing, great results. And the reason I bring that up is because you're in front of a crowd all the time. People see you. Most rooms that you go in, people know who you are, especially in the Assyrian community. Every video you post gets thousands, hundreds of thousands of views. So with that in mind, how do you have the courage to be in front of audiences when you feel that sometimes your progress is reversed? And how do you have the willpower to keep trying over and over again?
Damn. There's some deep questions. I always attribute my lack of nkhibtha to teaching. I was a high school English teacher, so I feel like every day I'd go on and I'd put on a performance for my students. But also, I'm the middle child, and you guys have seen my mother. It's not easy. So I've had to survive and put on a sort of, performance in my home as well. But I fell in love when I first did my first live comedy show. I fell in love with interacting with our people. So to me, it wasn't about, oh, how do I look? I feel embarrassed. I'm on stage. I gained weight. It's not about that at all. It's about going up there and just giving people what they love and interacting with the fans. And so I think, yes, I've been on I call it a 5-year journey since COVID. I started keto. I lost maybe 50 pounds on keto. Then I gained some back. And then I went down. Now the secret's out. I'm doing Wegovy shots, everybody. Okay? Yes. And I've managed to keep it down for now, but it's just, I feel like it's been such a big part of my life, the up and downs. But for 5 years now, I stopped caring so much about how I looked. It was more about how do I feel? Am I working out? Am I eating clean? Am I trying to be the healthiest version of myself? Now, when you see me, actually, I'm not going to say what I'm going to say because you're posting this somewhere. So yeah, it hasn't been about how do I look. It's more about what am I giving to people and how is God guiding my path in that? I'm always praying to God, like whatever is in your will, let it be done. Because I'm telling you guys right now, my bank is telling me to go back to teaching. But I'm like praying, like, God, should I keep doing the live shows? Should I keep delivering for the fans? And so I take it day by day, I pray on it. And it's funny now, people are saying, Hadiya lef makhkikanta, because mzubin nakhraba. For those of you who didn't understand, I'm not funny anymore because I'm skinny now, right? So it's like, it's funny. I'm like, should I buy a fat suit and for Yom, right? Like, so I get it. That's the Yom they knew, and now Yom's like, it's like, Mam Zubinni, and the Dasha's like a potato sack on her. But anyway, it's not the self-conscious anymore. I've stripped that away for 5 years now, and it's all about being healthy.
Yeah, it's very evident. And we'll get back to the teaching part in another section of this. But I want to introduce Elise Gites for the first time to the Assyrian audience.
Woo!
Elise is half Assyrian. And we actually had an interview a couple of years ago for the first time. And, she started to want to come back into the Assyrian community. She was never really involved in the Assyrian community. And my understanding is your mom loved Luna, but she, said to me she wished she put you in the Assyrian community earlier. Why did you decide to come back?
I think as I've gotten older and have grown up, I've always loved growing up with my Assyrian culture, but I understand we grew up not really, my brother and I, speaking the language or anything like that, and that really felt like a barrier. And as I got older, I just realized I want to have a deeper connection to my roots and to my culture. And my mom is 100% Assyrian. She's my best friend and favorite person. So I want to, have her culture, which is in turn my culture. And I want my kids one day to have this culture. So I'm really happy to be here. First of all, thank you for having me, and hi everyone. And I'm very happy to be placing myself more in the Assyrian culture. It's been amazing.
Yeah, what do you hope to get out of it?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't hope to get anything out of it other than just community. And I think as a community of Assyrians, we all really love each other and are there for each other. We understand that, we're not a major community. We're a pretty small culture, and we have to be there for each other. And so it feels nice to have that sense of family and community. Even just being here, we have a thread that combines us all and makes us one bigger family, which I think is the most important thing about life, is connections and having that community.
But you had every reason to stay away from the Assyrian community because of the fear of the unknown. You don't know how they would have received you, maybe fear of not fitting in or being accepted back into the fold. But it's reminiscent to me of the parable that Jesus told in the Bible about the prodigal son, where he inherited all of his father's wealth, and then he went out instantly and spent it on degenerate things. Not saying you're doing that, but my point is that he spent all the money, was afraid to return back to his father, but little did he know his father was actually ecstatic to have him back, told his brother to accept him back, and then even threw a feast for him to be back. And I think that's the way that the Assyrian community should treat people who aren't involved initially, who may not fit in the fold completely the same way as another person does, because just because I dance better than somebody else doesn't make me a better Assyrian.
Right. No, because right.
And just because I can speak better doesn't make me a better Assyrian than anyone else, because the most prideful Assyrian has the same blood in them as the least prideful Assyrian. And if we don't accept people back into the fold, then we will be an enemy to our own nation, because we are pushing away people with the same hand that we selectively greet people with too. And we can't do that. So I hope you feel welcomed back. I hope the community welcomes you back with an open arm, and I'm excited to see what else you do here. But does it feel like time is just flying by for you guys?
You can literally see
Yeah.
it flying.
Okay, but not just now. I mean, just in general, life.
Yeah. Thanks for the reminder.
There is, you got it, no problem. And I'm gonna give you something hopefully that helps with that. There's a Stoic quote that I heard a long time ago, and it stuck with me. And it's, the days are long, but the years are short. The days might feel like flying by constantly, but when you blink, you're like, man, I'm 25 now, I'm 40, I'm 50 now. Where did that go? I heard that my whole life. And so with that in mind, it's so easy for a person who's hardworking to put their head down, distract everyone from the noise, or don't distract yourself rather, from all the noise in the world. And then weeks go by, days go by. Ambitious people have this ability to just block out the world. But when they lift their head back up, they then see how much time really flew by, which makes a setback that much more scary, because you just realize how much time flew past your life. Alyssa,
Yes.
you actually weren't supposed to be on this panel,
No, I was not.
but you're here.
But I'm here. Yes, I'm here.
So, I feel that a lot of people actually don't know you, first of all.
Yeah.
And they see this influencer, they see this model, they see this TikTok personality, but they don't really know the person that they're following on a personal level.
Yeah.
So you're very young. I think you might be the youngest on the pod, or the panel rather. What hardships in your life made you realize that life is actually getting harder and time is flying by fast?
Wow, great question. So, guys, I have a backstory for y'all. So, I lost a lot of things, and when you lose a lot of things, you learn to appreciate what you do have. And I feel like in this space, it's very important to realize what you have. Because a lot of the time we get caught up with numbers and views. But when you lose things that are very, very important to you, you're able to kind of put things, listen, you gotta lock in. Honestly, when you lose everything, you have to lock in because it's on your back. So I lost my mom when I was 14. My brother was very sick. We lived in Canada. So at the time, it felt like I kind of lost everything. And then I started high school. I didn't really fit in with high school. It didn't fit in with the Assyrian community that much. So I felt very isolated. But I had a story to tell, and I had passions that I had goals and aspirations. So I never let that stop me. We moved to California when I was 15. And I started from zero. So I came to California with 2 pair of skinny jeans, my Timberlands from Canada, and 2 hoodies and 3 t-shirts. Everything else I left back home. I left my friends, I left my family, and I started fresh. So time does feel like it's flying by. It really, really does, because everything's happening so fast. You're losing things. You're trying to think like, how can I get back up from this? Who can I be? How can I help my brothers? How can I help my family? How can I be the role model, because I'm the oldest sister? I'm like, how can I be the role model that they can look up to now that we don't have a woman in the house, right? So I'm thinking of all these things. Had a passion to talk, to share my story. I've always liked comedy. Same with Ramina. When you live in a house with a lot of really interesting personalities, you want to go out and you want to share those stories. So I combined everything that I knew and that I loved, and I started making content. And quickly, somebody who never ever had a voice suddenly had a voice to hundreds of thousands of people. Then it went to millions of people. Then it went to hundreds of millions of people, and it's like, okay, wow, like my whole life, I'm thinking I'm this big, but reality, like your voice is so much bigger than what you think it is. And when time is flying by and you need to lock in, you really don't have another choice. And when you really feel like you don't have another choice, the only way you can go is up. And I think keeping God in your life and trying your hardest and being faithful and being patient and being confident, there's absolutely no way you can fail. So yeah, that's basically how I overcame those challenges of, time I'm thinking passing by. Is just being faithful, being persistent, and not giving up.
So you learned hardship from a very young age, 14 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, going back to Ramina's comment about going back to teaching, Ramina, no one knew that, actually, that for 6 months, you stepped away when you're at the peak of your career thus far to take a break from the whole Yom Ramina rated thing and become Miss Odisha again.
Oh, yeah.
And so when you went back to your first career as a teacher these last 6 months, did you feel like you were losing time? Was it a step back from the progress that you made? Talk to me about that experience, and did it make you want to come back to this with a fire?
Yes, my mom, my aunts, they were like, don't be stupid, it's wintertime, you're not even doing live shows, take the job. And it was an old boss that called me and said, we're desperate for a full-time teacher, it'll be from November to May, can you do it? And I'm going, oh my God, again, bank account's going, right? I'm like, damn it. And then also, like, I'm like a firm believer that God shows me signs at the right moments in my life. So I'm like, God, what are you doing? Because I'm not ready to let go of the comedy. And then at the same time, I felt like even my content fell off. I wasn't making videos like I used to make videos. I was like creatively dry in a sense. And it was the winter time. I wasn't doing live shows. So I'm like, you know what? I'm pressured enough for my family. I went and did it. I took the job. And I always said to people, they say, do you miss teaching? And I say, I miss the students. I hated, I'm not the type to gossip with the staff or, how admin is. Any teachers out here? People that work in schools, the nightmare, right? The politics in the school. The students are what either drive you crazy or make your job, right? So I missed the students. Going back, I was like, oh, it feels good to be back. They were having the time of their lives and learning at the same time, okay? But I would get home mentally exhausted. And I'm like, well, how am I supposed to make a video right now? Or man, they haven't said, people want me to come back to Arizona, or they want me to come back to Detroit, which mind you, I've done 16 shows in Detroit. And there's always one person, thank you, yes. There's always one person hey, when are you coming to Detroit? We've never seen you. I'm like, but I was drained coming back from teaching that I was like, there's really no way I can do this 100%. I could do the teaching 100% and the comedy 100%, which is why I left teaching in 2002. And mind you, I had landed, after years of looking for a full-time job, I had finally landed a beautiful district, a beautiful position, well-paying. And then God was like, oh, hey, here, you want to tour in Australia? So it was one of those things where like I have this like love-hate relationship of like, people say you could do teaching and comedy at the same time. You have your summers off. It's the perfect gig for what you're doing. But it's also about maintaining a social media presence. I don't know how much you do that. You have to do that in the music industry.
For sure, yeah.
But it's like you have to, because if I don't post for a week, people are like, Mala,
Yeah, it's
is she
bad.
okay?
Yeah,
Where'd she
absolutely.
go?
Or
Yeah.
we miss you. And yeah, I feel bad. And then I'm like, wait, I haven't posted in forever. Do they even want to see me perform live? Am I even funny anymore? Like,
Yeah.
I have imposter syndrome like
Same
crazy,
way.
honestly, right?
Yeah, when you take a week off, you're
Yeah, like what am I
Yeah.
doing with my life?
yeah.
So yeah, it's
Yep.
been a struggle, and we're actually back at it. They called me again for this school year, and I said, you know what? Run the interviews. Let's just see where this goes. But I have a show in Arizona coming up, so I'm doing both right now, and I feel like a shidanta.
Yeah.
It's very hard work, and the ones who know how much work you do, we appreciate you and thank you for what
Thank
you
you,
do.
I
It's great.
appreciate that.
But back to Mr. Benil. So the first thing that you do when you knock out a guy and Joe Rogan runs over to you with the microphone that you're famous for is you thank Christ. And that's a beautiful thing. I love it. But I want to know the first thing that goes in your mind when the other person's hand goes up when they call the victory. What are you thinking in those moments?
Different fights, different things, but I'm very hard on myself. So one of the first thoughts that goes through my head is like, I suck. I think that's pretty much how it goes.
At this point of your career, what are you chasing?
I want to be the best in the world. I'm still trying to be champion. I know age seems to be an issue for a lot of people, but I don't find my age an issue. I've trained just as hard as I did. It seems to me more the motivation dies as you get older. I have a lot of fighters around my age, and they're not so motivated, and I don't have that problem. I'm very simple. I'm very task-oriented, and breaking things is all I've ever known. So it's kind of hard to change who you are. So, but yeah, I'm still trying to be champion.
Yes, you're gonna get it.
But was there any moments of doubt that you can keep this up? How much do you really have left in the tank at this point?
Doubts come and go. Yeah, doubts. I definitely have doubts, especially after losses. You have a lot of doubts, but long periods are even worse. Because long periods without fights, you're like, what am I doing? Every morning I wake up, practice hard, and then on top of practice, hey, are you gonna go do your run? Are you gonna go do your strength? Are you gonna go learn something new? It's fatiguing. On top of that, family, kids. That I would say that's the hardest. The long periods, there's a lot of doubts.
So the thing is, when you have those doubts, that it could really self-sabotage you in the moment. You can quit early on. How do you not self-sabotage yourself in those moments of doubts?
I would go back to two things again. Saw the simple person. I don't have a lot. Fighting has been literally the only thing I've enjoyed. I've tried other sports. I wasn't good at them, and I also just didn't have a desire for them. I tried school, unfortunately. That didn't work out. Just didn't have a.
I'm so curious. What would you have studied if you went to school?
I was doing business accounting. That was the goal, anyways. I want to say at some point I decided to go full-time jiu-jitsu, full-time MMA, and kind of left all that behind. What was the question?
Moments of doubts.
Moments of doubt. Yeah.
How do you feel that? How do you manage not to self-sabotage yourself and quit too early?
Simple, and then finally I just go back to prayer and the Lord. I trust what the Lord has given me. I believe all my talents come from God, and if God wants me to move on, He'll let me know, and there hasn't been anything like that where hey, it's time to move on. So as long as this is where I'm supposed to be, the goal is to be a champion. I don't care what the odds are.
Got it. Ms. Iago.
Yes, sir.
Have you ever felt like you ever hit rock bottom, and what did you do in those moments to get out of it?
Rock bottom, yeah. I mean, I kind of touched on it earlier, but again, it was just being consistent, being faithful, and never giving up, and just really finding what my gift and my passion was. And I feel like once I got close to the Lord, I was able to find out what I was good at and the gifts that He gave me, and then I was able to then find a career or something that I loved that kind of went with the gift. And then that's kind of how I got out of rock bottom. It was kind of finding myself through Christ, and then being able to make a career out of that.
Yeah, and you and Nina actually collaborate a lot these days. I know you're both out in
Yes.
LA. So the thing is, though, Nina, you don't make yourself the star of the videos. You make generosity the star of your videos. Actually, a lot of people don't even know what you look like who follow you. You have millions of followers. And so because of that, who helps you when you need the help?
Good question.
Sorry, I didn't hear the question. Who else what?
He helps so many people. Who helps him when he needs it?
I would say like the real question is probably like who didn't help me when I needed it. For example, like coming up in this industry, in this content world, I did come across a lot of struggles, a lot of challenges, obstacles, quite a lot actually. Growing up, I looked up to the George Jenkos of the world, the Inanna Sargises of the world. So, and I'll give them their credit because they're a big reason why I'm even here today, because they inspired me when I was young before I even started filming any videos. Especially Inanna, she's from Toronto like me, like Alyssa. So it's inspiring seeing them, and it made me kind of want to get into this. So I did come across a lot of obstacles, like I said, to get here. And I do feel like a lot of that could have been avoided if I had a mentor like George or Inanna and so and so. If I had people like, the older heads in this industry to just help me, guide me, give me some advice. And I never really got that from them, which is honestly a good thing in a way because I took the hard path. So using my experience now that I've learned, I want to, like my goal for this panel is to enlighten, ignite, and inspire the younger generation. So, for example, with Alyssa, we've gotten really close lately because I know how if she's only 21. So back when I was 21, I wish I had someone like me to kind of guide her. So with Alyssa, I really want to guide her the right way and help her avoid a lot of obstacles that come in her way so that she could just continue to grow and keep growing and not have stuff slow her down. And so she could really reach her full potential. I do really believe she will be the #1 female streamer in the world.
Oh, God. Thank you.
If not biggest content creator in the world.
This question was about you. See, this is what he does. It's about you.
He's the gift that keeps on
giving.
No. And even like, for example, my boy from Toronto, Carlos, is here. How many subscribers do you have right now?
13. Hell yeah.
Hey, 13! Yay!
Okay, he's 20 years old. He has 13 subscribers. I told him this month's been crazy, but after this whole month passes by, me and him are gonna lock in. He wants to be a YouTuber, so I told him next year he's gonna be sitting on this chair, speaking at this panel.
Yes.
By next year, my goal for him is for him to hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube by next year, and I think it's very doable. And I'm putting pressure on him now, so he can
Now you know.
start it. Yes, putting some pressure on him. But yeah, I mean, I enjoy it. I don't gatekeep. I do notice, a lot of people do gatekeep, but I never gatekeep. I always want to help the younger generation, and I enjoy it. I feel like if I wasn't, this content life is, I'm 25 now, so right now I'm like really just, I don't waste a single day. Every single day is like YouTube, this, that. I don't get a break. Like this is my one break. I feel like where like I can finally relax. But this life happens so quick. Before you know it, I'll be 30, and then it's like, what do I want to do? I think if I wasn't doing, I'm yapping at this point. Sorry.
We love it.
If I wasn't doing content creating, or if I ever stopped doing it, I feel like I would just want to manage like younger creators, like younger Assyrian creators, and just like take them to the moon with content creating. So. Yeah, I mean, I hope that answers the question.
You answered it, you did. But going back to the topic of kindness, because that's the theme of your personality, your content.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll tell you a personal thing that happened when I was younger. I won't get into too many details, but basically what happened was that my parents made me very angry. My brother made me very angry. And it was so easy for me to be upset with them. But in that same hour when I ran into a stranger, I was all smiles. How you doing? Can I help you out with anything? And I realized to myself, why was I so easy to be angry at family, but not at a complete stranger I have no idea, nor do they care about me? So as a person who has content on kindness, why do you think that is? Why is it easier to be generous to strangers more so than to people we know personally?
I didn't know you have cameras in my house. How do you know I don't help my family? No, I mean, it's a weird question. I mean,
But you're going out and you're seeking random people to help, right?
yeah, I mean, no, I still help family, of course.
Well, I'm not saying, that's not my question. I'm not saying you don't help family. I'm saying, why do you think it's easier to put on a face for a person that we might not know more so than just by their name?
Yeah, you know, sometimes life moves so quick. Like, we're so caught up in our own stuff. Sometimes you just gotta, like, breathe, like, take a break and just, like, read the room, look at everyone, like, is this person good? You know what it is? I'm really good at reading people. So when I will say that's like a skill I think I was born with, but I'm good at reading people just from looking at them. So a lot of my videos where it's like some of them are so perfect where they think it's staged. Like there'll be comments where it's staged, but it's really just me getting a feel for someone I'll see. I'll be like, this person like could use a blessing, could use the cash, or whatever video I'm doing that day. So yeah, it's just like reading, like sometimes I'll just be like analyzing. It's weird, but I'll just be analyzing, like looking at people. I'll be like just reading them. It's weird, but
He's really good at it. Like
yeah,
actually,
we
were streaming or we were doing a video for something. I forgot what it was, but he was able to like scan who needed the help the most. Not even by like what they were wearing, by how they were acting. Literally, he looked at them. He's like, that kid right there, and he was absolutely right. Like he completely changed.
Yeah, I see someone in the crowd that looks like they need some help.
What?
Can you ever been
Find someone in the crowd that needs some help right now.
No, I don't want to put anyone on the spot.
has anybody ever like Uno reversed you? Like
I need
they were
help.
pretending to be?
What did you say?
Like they were pretending to be?
You ever
like,
get
like
homeless
they were a
catfish?
content
You know, it's a
creator
funny
too?
story. Yeah, once. It only
Really?
happened once, so I gave money to this guy. The video blew up. Even one of the Kardashians, Kourtney Kardashian, I think she liked the video as well, and it like really blew up. And then someone DM'd me. They're like, look up. His name was. Do I say the name? Let me just not say names. Let's just say his name was Bob. So he's like, look up Bob, News Channel 6 or whatever the news, NBC News, whatever. So I look it up, and then it turns out he was like just a handler. Like he lives in a mansion. They followed him to his house, and like he just sits there asking for money. But one day they followed him to his house. He lives in this huge house, and
That's
then
crazy.
I didn't know that at the time. He kind of tricked me there, but. Most of the time, no, it does go to the right people. But that was one funny time where I was like, damn. But
I mean, how much did you
for
give
the
them?
mansion.
it's not really in my control sometimes. You know?
How much money have you given away?
It's more of a question for like my manager or my, I don't know. Like this month, I don't know for everything. This month, around 30,000 with the brands I've been working with.
Wow.
A lot of videos I haven't posted yet, but around 30K. During the wildfires was a good one. When the LA wildfires happened, I did 2 videos where this lady lost her home. She lost her husband the year before, and she has her autistic son that she has to take care of. So she lost her home, burnt down, and another lady who was 97 years old, she lived there for so long, her house fully burnt down. So I did 2 videos, and then the GoFundMe's raised like close to $500,000 for them.
Wow.
So they were able to get a house. But like, yeah. So I don't know, really.
A lot. That's a lot.
For that, yeah. But that's like that money came from like crowdfunding, but money I've given away, I'm not sure really. I don't really count. I just give.
Nice.
Aw.
Got it, man.
Very nice.
Awesome. So what I learned in my young adult life is that the simplest, not the easiest, the simplest form of adversity is a heartbreak. If you really think about it, nothing in your life has changed. The same car is being driven, the same home is being lived in, the same bed is being slept in, you have the same body, same face, same everything. But the only thing that's different is the way that you perceive life, because now you're on a new emotional level. So, Elise, you actually just got off of tour.
Yes.
And for those of you who don't know her songs, a lot of it is about heartbreak that motivates it. So how did you use heartbreak to set up your career in music?
The second you mentioned heartbreak, I knew that was going to be a question for me. But that's a great question. I think I have definitely gone through some crazy relationships that have had really crazy things happen, end up in these heartbreaks, but that's when I love to write music the most. And like I even said this on stage at my tour, like as a thing that, you know, you say in a different way every night, but it's really true. I think almost anyone who makes art, whether it's music or, you know, if you're a painter, whatever it is, I think a lot of people make their best art in their worst times. Even similar to what you were talking about sort of like hitting rock bottom, and that is like a time where, you know, your talents come out and like you really have time to think about, okay, what am I good at and stuff. Obviously very different situations, but I think a lot of the best music is written in times of heartbreak, and I think when you're in that sort of melancholic, like sad mode, and you're very much, I get really weird. Like I have to like method act into my music, so I get weird. I like don't talk to people. I keep all the lights off all day. I gotta like really get into it in a weird way. I think that's when my fans and people that listen to my music, when you listen to music, whether you realize it or not, you're drawn to like authenticity, and you're drawn to moments of people's life where the music they were making was like extremely real to them and extremely true to them. And so I feel like my fans that's their favorite thing, is when I make like the saddest songs, or the songs that they're like, oh my God, my boyfriend just cheated on me and I've been listening to this all winter and crying to it. And I'm like, like I love that I can be that person for them, because it's something everyone experiences at one point or another. And I think it's just been a really awesome recurring thing in my life that I get to take these sad experiences that happen to me and then flip them into such a positive, because then I'm singing them to these rooms of people and I'm like hearing people's stories that are like, hey, this song got me through my breakup, or this song got me through this really horrible time, or helped me like through this moment where I really needed something to lean on. And so I think it's great. I think turning heartbreak into a music career has honestly been kind of my formula this whole time.
Well, isn't it ironic that you have to go through some of the worst fuel to put it into the fire that produces then a lifestyle and provides security and all these things to you? You have to go through pain to get to that point.
For sure. And then I get worried when things are good. I'm like, hold on, I need to write music soon. Like something has to go wrong. Like, wait. But yeah, I think it's like a blessing and a curse. It's just the very like synchronistic life, you know? You go through these things and then you turn it into art, and then that art creates something beautiful, and it's like this circle of life type of thing.
Got it. So the next section I really want to get into is actually fitting in. And I want to talk to Benil about fitting in with the talents that God has given you. So did you ever question yourself, like, how can I bless the kingdom of God with the talent that he gave me, with the skill of choking out a person? Like, how did you think that you could like give back to the community with these talents and skills?
Well, to be honest with you, I wasn't a Christian until I want to say like 23, 24. So it wasn't even a question in my mind while I was training and competing. But over the years, the question has come up, and I think the easiest answer would be, oh, well, I have this platform. I have to make sure I use it for to promote the kingdom of God, right? That's probably the simplest, but I think more important is it's in the daily activities, how I treat the people around me and how I communicate with people, and what I'm willing to do for those who can't do anything for me. So I think as important as the platform is, I think more important is the little things.
Well, now that you do have the platform, in your last interview, you actually said that fame is trash. So do you ever get uncomfortable when people treat you like a celebrity?
Yes. It's very awkward for me. But that's okay. You know, comfort is the enemy of progress, so it's okay being uncomfortable sometimes.
Yeah, got it. And most people like to dress up a certain way so that they can fit into a room.
Oh boy.
I'll skip you on this one.
Look at my mom's over there shaking her head. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So, like these guys, they dress flashy. You see them in the post-fight interviews, three-piece suits, all these things, Gucci down all the way to the socks. So, you, flip-flops, jeans, shirt,
Yeah,
very
man.
chill.
Yeah, well, again, it goes back to just being who I am, man. The three-piece suit, unless I'm trying to get married or I got something big going on, I don't really feel the necessity. I didn't start fighting so I could be famous and wear three-piece suits. I got into fighting because I wanted to break men in front of me. It wasn't like a complicated thing, and then they try to add all this stuff. Hey, you got to do this and you got to do that and you got to fit in this cookie cutter whatever, and I was just like, nah, I'm okay. I'll just keep fighting. If you guys don't want me, that's fine. But if you guys want me to keep fighting, then this is what you get.
Okay, got it. So Elise, sticking on the topic of aesthetics, you have the dark aesthetic. So how did you get your look? And I mean, I'm sure you've noticed by now walking through this convention that not too many people share that in the Assyrian community.
I love your look, by the way.
Same.
Thanks.
You look so, I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I think I've just always really been into horror as a genre and dark things. I grew up loving to read Stephen King and James Patterson novels. I've just very much always been a spooky girl. I've always loved Halloween. And so when I started making music, I knew already kind of that I really wanted this darker aesthetic. I wanted my music to have metaphorical darker themes, and then to kind of create the whole visual world around it, I wanted to look like that too. So I started dyeing my hair crazy colors. I don't even know what my real hair color is. I haven't seen it in years. But I think I've had every hair color. And I think I've just had this aesthetic for so long. It's not really something I ever tried super hard. Obviously I curate it for videos and photo shoots and stuff, and I care about all of those things, but I definitely didn't have to force it or anything. It sort of just became what I enjoyed naturally, and it fit really well with the sound of the music I was making, so it all worked out really, really well.
Got it. And so Ramina, we talked about how, the comedy life, the teacher life, that's two very separate circles of people. And a lot of times we can find ourselves in no man's land with who we associate with. So did you ever feel like that based on those two different professional realms, you just had a hard time relating to people and fitting in?
No. I wish, you just made me think though, I wish that I was pathanta enough to ask for mentorship with comedians that I know. I'm always the type of person that doesn't want to inconvenience anybody or bother anybody. So the other day I messaged Paul and I was like, how's it going? And I was reading a book called The Comedy Bible, and I sent a picture because the author mentioned him. I sent it to him. I said, how cool, you're in this book. And he's like, great, Playa, how's it going with you? And I was like, it's going so well. What I really wanted to say is, Paul, I got a show coming up and I'm trying to write new material, but I didn't want to bother him, So I was like, it's fine, it's going well, hope to see you soon. But I wish that I created more of a community, or if I was pathanta enough to be like, yo, let's connect next weekend, let's just sit down and write. Because when I do talk to my comedian friends, I feel so inspired, I feel revived again. I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna go and write today. And I don't feel like I've built that community around me. And that's why I love what you're doing with Alyssa. I think that's beautiful, because you really do need people behind you to motivate you, inspire you, even just shoot the shit and just talk about what you're going through and the challenges that you go through. So that's one thing I do wish, is to create a sense of community with other comedians so that I can pick their brains and literally.
Well, now you have it on camera, so they know. Yeah. Paul.
Chat clip that.
Yeah.
But in that chapter that I was reading, it literally was step 1, find a comedy buddy. And I was like, oh, great. Okay, so we're hard stop right here.
Well, the topic of mentorship actually came up a few times throughout this panel.
Yeah.
And so, Benil, actually, I wanted to ask you, who was there for you in your corner? Because now I see that you're actually standing in a lot of people's corners, mentoring them in their fights, helping them with their fight camps, right? So who was there for you early on in your life that made you the person you are today?
Shoot, I got a lot of people actually. So, trying to think. Originally, when I started, I had this guy named Bruno Paulista. He was my jiu-jitsu coach. Very good guy. Helped me a lot. and then he introduced me to a guy named Homo Bahau, who's one of the best grapplers ever, and he changed my mindset, because Bruno was kind of a hang back, train whenever you want, and then Homo was like, hey, if you're not training 2 times a day, someone is, and they're going to be better than you. And so Homo Bahau was very good for that switch in my head to becoming a professional. And then as far as coaches go, Rafael Cordero, I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with him. He was, he was my MMA coach for a very long time, and he's been, he's been a big part of my team, and very grateful for him. He was very good for me.
Got it. So, Nina, we talked about how you would move around the whole entire world constantly in pursuit of a career. It's not a foreign thing that people move to pursue career, job opportunities. But you being Assyrian, you've planted yourself in a community. I mean, a lot of people know you, you help the community out in a lot of ways, but you had to, at one point, uproot yourself, move, and you're constantly moving. So how do you have a firm grasp of community, and do you ever feel lonely in those moves? Is it sacrifice a lonely one, or no?
Well, I mean, yeah, you have to make some sacrifices if you really want to, be the best. So one of them that suck is sometimes when I moved to Florida for 3 months, there was no Assyrians really in the area. It felt really strange, because I grew up in Toronto where you go into any mall, you see all your friends, Assyrian here, Assyrian here. Mm-hmm. And then even, LA has a good amount of Assyrians, but yeah, it definitely feels weird. It's a huge change. It almost feels like you're just in a different planet when you're living in a state with no Assyrians. But I am young right now, and this is the time I take risks. Even I might be moving to Texas in 2 months, which is even worse. So I don't know, unless there's Assyrians there that I don't know about. But
there are. I'll introduce you.
Yeah. Okay, sure. Thank you. So I mean, you got to make sacrifices really, and one of those is that. But
do you ever feel like being remote from the Assyrian community is a difficult thing to go through, or because you're with it your whole life?
Yeah, it is. It's a lot of change, especially not being able to go to a Assyrian church. For example, if I do go to a state that there's no church there, it does feel weird, and sometimes it can get overwhelming when you work yourself so much. But that's kind of how I reset, or want to go back to how do I explain this? Let's just say, for example, I was in Florida for so long, no Assyrians there, really, it was difficult. I would just take a trip to Toronto, back home, feels like home, and just take reset mentally, yeah, and then just back to work. But it's always nice, yeah, because the best thing, I work a lot, really, so I'll be working, and then at some point it catches up to me where I need to, I was like, okay, even my manager will be like, yo, take a break, go on a vacation, whatever, do something. So that's when I decide I just go to Toronto. Anytime I go to Toronto, it's really just to reset, see the Assyrians, family, it feels good. It's like home. It's literally home. So, yeah, it's a breath of fresh air. And yeah, it feels good. So I guess that's how I deal with it.
Yeah. Well, Alyssa, you actually talk about being Assyrian often, but I feel like recently in the newer videos the past time, you haven't been doing it as often. Why is that?
Well, I think it's very important to have a very large audience, because when you have a large audience, you can derive their attention to important things. So it's very important to be known in the Assyrian community. I think it's very good to be open and honest about your culture. But at the same time, if we're the only people that know about us, there really isn't that, it's not that good, right? You need to open those doors. You need to get people knowing, understanding, learning, adapting. We need other people and other eyes to look at us and see us and hear our voices, hear our stories. So I think it's important to do both. I really think it's important to, appeal to a large audience, because at the end of the day, these are the people that can support us and can help us at the end of the day.
Yeah. And before we go into the Q&A section, I just want to end you guys with this. Though he couldn't be here, Paul Leah actually sat down with me, who we were talking about earlier, and helped me pinpoint some important topics of conversation for today. So we hope to see Paul here at the convention next year on this panel. And thank you, Paul. Shout out to you. But before we go into the Q&A, I just want to say that regardless if you're a hardcore Tanaya, Tanaya, whatever it may be, you got to be in the community to help the community. I mean, we just sat here for an hour listening to this diverse range of individuals who all had something completely different from one another, yet they benefit the Assyrian name because of how good they are in that aspect, in that career, in that industry. And so just keep that in mind. When you think that your talent isn't gonna do anything, you're wrong. It does. It's a God-given talent. And because of that, you are robbing yourself, your friends, and your nation of the benefits from the talent that God has given you if you don't use them. So I urge you all to find what that is and to use it in your own way, because it comes back to everybody here. All right, thank you guys so much. Now for the Q&A section. We're going to be passing the microphone around, so please feel free to ask anybody. Raise your hand if you got questions.
Hi, everybody. I'm Kristen. Thank you so much for your time today. A lot of you mentioned listening to God's voice throughout your careers. And in an arena where you have so many followers and so many voices coming at you, how do you find God's voice in the midst of all that noise?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I can answer? Okay. It's a good question because it does, like being a creator, sometimes it's a unique life. Like the lifestyle we live is not a regular lifestyle. So with me, at least, it may be different for everyone else. It can catch up to you where you lose track of God and you forget the little things like praying, and life's just moving so quick. You're going here, doing this. And it happens to me, I'm not gonna lie. But what helps me is see, I live away from my family now, but growing up, my mom was the one who really is the reason why I'm so faithful. So she would always make sure I go to church, little things. Like anytime I had a problem, she would always refer to the Bible. So when I do call my mom, whenever, we don't talk much now because I live away, but when I do call her, like she always reminds me, like just slow down, like pray, start going to church again. And at the end of the day, like that's all we have, like our relationship with God, and all this is just for fun, really. So I always got to remind myself it's not even that serious. It's like it's just got to focus on God. Everything else is just like a side quest, really.
Absolutely. Adding on to that, a lot of the time you can get very overwhelmed, and you can always feel like you're not doing enough. And it's like this constant cycle. So when I feel like I'm very unfulfilled, it's like those moments where I'm like, okay, I need to slow down and I need to open my Bible. So for me, I need to get better at always, I am thankful, but even in the good moments, really slowing down and listening. But I'd say in the moments where I'm the most overwhelmed or overworked, that's when I'm like, okay, all of this is fleeting. This will not come with me in the afterlife. So then, I crack open my Bible and I just take it slow, and that's what kind of brings me back.
Can I add to that? I used to love reading comments because I used to bake cakes. So when I was done baking a cake, my favorite part of that whole process was revealing it to somebody and seeing their reaction. So the comments were perfect. It's my way of seeing what people liked about the video, their favorite part about the video. Now it's more of a hate relationship than love, because so many times you want to defend your character, or people don't know you and they take things out of context, or they attack you because they're miserable, or they're social media, what do we call them? Warriors.
Yeah.
And you so badly want to clap back. Trolls. Yeah, you want to clap back. You want to defend yourself. But I found lately I've been doing this thing where I go literally, what would Jesus do? And I have to swallow my pride, and I have to swallow my anger, and I have to go, you know what? Is anything good going to come out of a response? And if the answer is no, I leave it alone. Now, I have had my weak moments where I'll literally post screenshots of people's comments, partly because I think they're hilarious, but also because I'm I want to say something. And I find that's very un-Christian-like of me to do it. So I've had my weak moments, but I do find myself asking, what would Jesus do? Because I want to be Christ-like. So it is very difficult in the social media world to be Christ-like and not be influenced by what people want you to post or what people want to see of you. You really just have to make a conscious decision of, I'm a Christian, I'm going to act that way, whether I lose followers, whether I gain followers, whether people are engaged, whether they're not. You say you want to be the best in the world. For me, I'm like, I don't ever think I've told myself I want to be the funniest comedian in the world. I'm doing this as an art form, as medicine for people, and if God decides this isn't for me 2 years down the line, then it is what it is. But really, you have to make a conscious decision of keeping God at the forefront of every move that you make.
Absolutely.
I think culture in general is counter to God. So God will always be counterculture. He'll never be celebrated as he should be. So that being said, culture will typically try to take us away from the Lord and from his voice. We have to find a way to anchor ourselves. If you consider culture like an ocean, you need an anchor strong enough to hold you. And for me, for sure, the Bible is that, and then prayer. And you want to, a lot of people look at me because I have a lot of gray hairs and like, hey, he's old, so let's go to him for wisdom. But I have a lot of people, I have a lot of people who are smarter than I am, who are wiser than I am, to go to ask for advice and seek counsel. So those are some general things that help me stay grounded and able to hear the sound of the Lord.
Amen. Great question.
We got time for more questions, if anyone has.
بنخاف هنا.
That's it? All right, thank you guys so much for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emmanuel, for setting this up for us, and thank you to AANM.
Good job, buddy.
God bless you.
Good job.
Duyuran ele, gıdım aslında duyuran ele.